Okay. So my screen is it my screen is visible for to you? Hello. Okay. Just wait for a second. Now is it visible? Okay, thank you. Okay, so in unit one, that is HR acquisition and retention. So in this unit, we learn job analysis, purpose of job analysis, importance of job analysis, benefits of job analysis, then process of job analysis, also writing job description and process of writing job description, then job design. Uh, in this, we learn factors affecting job design, then forms of job design, that are job simplification, job rotation, job enlargement, and job enrichment. Then we learn job characteristics model, then human resource planning, that is HRP, human resource planning process, then supply forecasting, then limitations of HRP, then we learn recruitment, nature of recruitment, recruitment process, then strategic approach to recruitment. Okay, then recruiting sources, that are internal sources and external sources of recruitment, then e-recruitment methods. And today we will start selection, and this is the last part of unit 2. Okay, so selection, either or internal or external, is a deliberate effort of the organization to select a fixed number of personnel from a large number of applicants. So it means a selection is a process of picking individual with a requisite qualifications and competence to fill job in the organization. It is the process of examining the applicants with regard to their suitability for the given job or jobs, uh, and choosing the best from the suitable candidates and rejecting the others. The selection is negative in its application, as it seeks to eliminate as many unqualified applicants as possible in order to identify the right candidates. So, the definition of selection by Del Yard is: selection is a process in which candidates for employment are divided into two classes: those who are to be offered employment and those who are not. So, selection means a process by which qualified personnel may be chosen from the applicants offering their services to the organization for employment. Okay. Then next one is significance of selection process. Uh, and there's a procurement of skilled workers. Uh, so only the suitable candidates who are fit for the job are selected from among the prospective candidates for employment. So, what it means is the purpose of selection is to pick up the most suitable candidates who would meet the requirements of the job, as the most suitable person is picked up after eliminating the unsuitable applicants through successive stages of selection process. Then the next one is solution to personal problems. So proper selection of personnel reduce personal problems of the organization. Uh, we can say selection is used to place right candidate at right job. It means selection is also aimed to place individual who can make effective and worthwhile contribution to an organization into appropriate jobs or roles. So this is how selection is significant, or selection process is significant in the organization. Okay, then selection procedure, or we can say uh, selection process. So selection process is usually a series of hurdles or steps. The basic idea is to solicit maximum possible information about the candidates to ascertain their suitability for employment. Since the type of information required for various positions may vary, so it is possible that the selection process may have different steps for various positions. So a standard selection process consists of some stages, like hiring decisions, or we can say a reference check or background verification, then medical examination, then selection interviews, then selection tests, then screening of applicants, or we can say application blanks. So all these are the steps or stages which are involved in selection process. So we will learn it one by one. So the first stage is initial contact or reception of applicants. So initial contact with the candidate is usually made through their applications for the jobs in the company. Almost every organization maintains a proper record of applications received in their employment office. We can also see it as a screening of applications. So, prospective employees have to fill up some sort of applications forms. So these forms have a variety of information about the applicants, like their personal biodata, achievements, experience, etc. Such information is used to screen the applicants who are found to be qualified for the consideration of employment. So the information may also be used to keep permanent records of those persons who are selected. So based on the screening of applications, only those candidates are called for further process of selection who are found to be meeting the job standards of the organization. So when the number of applicants meeting the job standards far exceeds the actual requirements, the organization decide a suitable number of candidates who will be called for further selection process. Okay, so after these stage, the next stage is preliminary interview. So the preliminary interview is the first screening device utilized in the personnel department. So the purpose of a preliminary interview is to see whether the candidate is apparently suitable physically and mentally for the job. It is meant to see the size of the candidate. This is essential to check whether the candidate fulfills the minimum qualifications. Okay. Then the next stage is application blank and security. So sometimes candidates are required to fill up a well-drafted blank application form in their own handwriting. It can be used as a good test device for the expression, handwriting, and other abilities of the candidates. So in that application blank, there are some sub criterias we can say used to fill the that blank application. So the first one is biographic information. So biographic information includes the name of the applicant's father's name, date of birth, then age, gender, nationality, physical features, that is height, weight, and so on. Then marital status, then identification marks, and family details. So we can say the first criteria is about the personal information. Then next one is educational qualification. So it educational qualification includes information about courses completed, year of passing, then subject studied, and percentage of marks secured in your past examination. Then a division of a rank obtained, the name of the educational institute, and scholarship awarded. So all these information is included in educational qualification. Then the next stage is selection test. Uh, so selection test is also called as psychological tests, are the important devices that are used in the selection of the candidates. A test is designed to measure such skills and abilities in a worker which are found by job analysis to be essential for successful job performance. So, a test is an instrument designed to measure selected psychological factors. The basic assumption underlying the use of test is personal selection is that individuals are different in their job related abilities and skills, and that these skills can be adequately and accurately measured for comparison. Since many human abilities are complex and interrelated, they have to be understood in association with each other. Okay, so selection test is nothing but the psychological test standardized to measure behaviors of the humans, or we can say workers of the organization. So objectives of selection test are to provide more objective and authentic means of measuring the competence of job applicants for job suitability, uh, also to uncover talent that would not be detected by interviews. Okay, then next is types of psychological tests, or okay, so there are some types of psychological tests are used in the selection test, which are ability test, personality test, interest test, honesty or integrity test. Okay, so first one is ability test. So, ability refers to the capacity of a person to do a particular job. The ability of a person commonly denotes the combination of mental ability and physical ability and motor ability like figure dexterity and reaction time. Okay, then the next one is personality test. So personality refers to the sum of the characteristics of a person which reflect on his or her response to a particular situation. Or these tests probe deeply to discover clues to an individual's value system, his emotional reactions, his maturity, and characteristic mood. Then they are expressed in such traits like self confidence, tact, or we can say tact, then emotional control, then optimism, then objectivity, patience, fear, uh, the distrust or judgment, dominance or submission or impulsive, sympathy, integrity, stability, and self-confidence. So all these are came under the personality test. Also, the personality test can be objective test. That is, most personality tests are objective test as they are suitable for group test and can be scored objectively. Also, projective test in which candidates are asked to project their own interpretation of certain standards stimuli or situations or based on ambiguous pictures, figures, etc. These personality tests have some disadvantages in the sense that they can be faked by sophisticated candidates, and most candidates give socially acceptable answers. Okay, then the next one is interest test. So a, a person's mental and physical ability are not sufficient to achieve a desirable job performance. Uh, it means interest tests are interest tests are inventories of the likes and dislikes of candidates in relation to work or job or occupation or his or her hobbies and recreational activities. So the purpose of this test is to find out whether a candidate is interested or disinterested in the job for which he is candidate, and to find out in which area of the job range or occupation the candidate is interested. So the assumption of this test is that there is a high correlation between the interest of the candidate in a job and job success. The interest in inventors are less fixed, and they may not fluctuate after the age of 30. So that's why interest test is necessary in psychological test. Then the fourth test in psychological test is honesty and integrity test. So in the organizations may feel a need of a certain and honesty of the candidates to ensure that they have not furnished any false information. Okay, so that's why honesty and integrity test is required in psychological test or in selection test. Then merits of psychological test. So yes, there are some we can say advantages and disadvantages of the psychological test or selection test. So the first one is objective in evaluation. So yes, psychological or selection tests are reliable and impartial tools to measure and choose the best candidate for a job. Then ideal for large groups. Okay, so in objective in evaluation, the selection tests are reliable and impartial tools to measure and choose the best candidates for a job. When compared with other selection techniques like interviews, the tests are free from personal bias and prejudice. Then the ideal for large groups. The inherent advantage of the selection test is that this can be simultaneously administered to a large number of applicants. When suitable candidates are to be chosen from a big pool of candidates, selection test is the only time-saving and cost-effective technique. Then next one is predictor of intangible talents. So the selection are capable of predicting the talents and skills that are invisible and abstract in nature. So they can measure not only the performance but also the potential of the prospective candidates, or we can say prospective applicants. Then the next one is goal specific and target oriented. So employers have the option to choose from a variety of selection tests to measure the specific quality of an applicants. For example, achievement test may be used to identify the existing performance of the applicants, while the aptitude tests are appropriate for measuring the future performance. Okay, so these are the merits of a selection test. Then demerits of selection test. So we can say selection test used as supplements only. So selection test can be used only as supplements rather than as a substitute for other methods of selection like application forms and interviews. So the next one is lack of flexibility. So, since the content of the selection test are predetermined, it cannot be altered often to often to suit the changing situation. So further, as it is an impersonal technique, it may overlook the critical individual differences vital to the job performance. So yes, this is the demerit of selection test. The next one is unsuitability uh, for smaller groups. So selection tests are not cost effective for choosing the best candidate if the number of applicants is small. It requires a lot of time and money to prepare these tests and check their validity and reliability. So yes, this is also a demerit or disadvantage of a selection test. Then selection process. So the next point in selection process is interviewing. So, selection interview or the interview is a selection technique which enables the employer to view the total individual and directly appraise him and his behavior. So, it is a method by which an idea about an applicant's personality, we can say, including his intelligence, his interest, and general attitudes towards life. So all these can be obtained by a face-to-face contact. Okay, so uh, an interview is a, we can say, an interview is a purposeful exchange of ideas, the answering of questions, and communication between two and more persons. So it called as interview. So there are different types of interviews, as we know, the preliminary interviews, core interviews, then decision making interviews. So we will see this part in next slide maybe. So objectives of an interview. So the first objective of an interview is it fills the information gap. So the interview fills the information gap in the personal selection process, or we can say it provides job seekers candidates information. So in an interview, the employer can collect the complete information about the job seeking candidate, or interview collection information about the candidate's culture and educational background, work experience, also intelligence, quotients or communication skills and personality type, his interest and social behavior. So all these type of information we can collect from interviewer can collect from interview. So the next objective of interview is establish contact with the applicant. So it helps to enables an organization to establish a direct and personal contact with the applicant to verify the information obtained through other sources. Also, we can say it helps to select a right person. So, in an interview, the interviewer can see and talk to the candidates, so he can make a correct decision whether to select or reject the candidate. Or personal interview is the best method to selecting the right person for the right post or for the right job. Then the next part is factors considered in interview. So the important factors considered at the time of interview are confidence, the candidates confidence, initiative, response, his behavior, his work experience, his opinions, his attitude, his maturity, his emotional stability, his enthusiasm, and confidence. Okay, so these are the factors are considered at the time of the interview. Then the next, we can say, point in interview is types of selection interview. So there are some types like panel interview, structured interview, unstructured interview, in-depth interview, and stress interview. Okay, so a structured interview. In structure interview, the interviewers are trained in the process to be used. In this type of interview, a list of questions based on analysis of the job specification is prepared. Okay, so these such kind of interviews we can also call formal interviews. So in this type of interviews, all formalities, procedures like fixing the value, time, panel of interviewers, opening and closing, then intimating the candidates officially, etc., are strictly followed in arranging and conducting the interview. So, the course of the interview is pre planned and structured in advance depending on job requirements. So, that's why it's called as structured interview. Then the next type of selection interview is unstructured interview. So this method is also known as non-directive or a free interview. So in this type of interview, the interviewer does not pre-plan the questions to be asked. Or in this interview, the candidate is given the freedom to tell about himself by revealing his knowledge on various items or areas, and his background, his expectations, his interest, etc. So, similarly, the interviewer also provides information on various items required by the candidate. So, this type of interview is called as unstructured interview. Then the next type of selection interview is in-depth interview. So, as implied by the term in-depth, the purpose of this interview is to discuss the information concerning the candidate in detail. Also we can say that in this type of interview, the candidates would be examined extensively in core areas of knowledge and skills of the job. So the experts in that particular field examine the candidates by posing relevant questions as to extract critical answers from them. Initially, discussion regarding critical areas of the job, and by asking the candidates to explain even minute operations of the job performance. So this type of interview is called as in-depth interview. Then the next one is a stress interview. So the purpose of a stress interview is to put the candidate in an uncomfortable situation to see his or her ability to handle stress. The intention of the interviewer here is to identify the sensitive candidates who have low stress tolerance, or these type of interviews aims at testing the candidate's job behavior and level of withstanding during the period of stress and strain. Then the next type of interview is panel interview. So in this method, the applicant is interviewed by more than one interviewer. A panel of two or more interviewers is formed to interview the candidate. So in this interview, a panel of uh, experts interviews each candidate, judges his performance individually, and prepares a consolidated judgment based on each expert's judgment and weightage of each factor. So, moving to the next slide, that advantages of selection interview. So, selection interview uh, is a detailed description of a job uh, and organization. So, selection interview enables interviewers to describe the job and the organization in more detail. So, by providing some indications of the terms of the psychological contract. Then the next one is assessment of organization by candidate. So selection interview gives the candidate the same opportunity to access the organization, the interviewer and the job. So this is also an advantage of selection interview. Then the next one is economical. So, interview is a relatively low cost experience with additional expenses limited to the time of participants and traveling expenses. Okay, so some limitations of selection interview, uh, or we can say barriers of selection is lack of objectivity. So in interviews, there is always a scope for personal bias, and this may affect the objectivity of the whole experience. Then halo effect. This problem arises when the interviewer attempts to judge the personality of the interviewee on the basis of a single or a few dominant characteristics. Okay. Then in adequacy of time. So the another criticism of interview is the lack of adequate time to evaluate the interviewee, or the most important concern in selection and hiring are the time and cost involved in making personal decision. So it is important to identify such factors as advertising expenses, agency fees, cost of test materials, time spent in interviewing candidates, cost for reference checks, medical exams, startup time required for the new manager to get uh, acquainted with the job, relocation and orientation of the new employee. So this is also we can say a barrier in selection interview. Then the next step in selection procedure is checking references. So the next step in the selection process is checking references uh, furnished by the candidates. So the offer of employment should be made even informally uh, until references have been obtained. Once a decision is reached on the chosen candidate, it is normal to make approaches to past employers to check the accuracy of information provided by the applicants, such as dates of employment and confirming general impressions made at interview. Okay. Uh, So the many organizations ask the candidates to provide the name of referees from whom more information about the candidate can be uh, solicited. So such information may be related to character, working, etc. So the usual referees may be previous employers, persons associated with the educational institutions from where the candidate have received education, or other persons of the prominence who may be aware of the candidate's behaviors and ability. So, in our country, references are not given adequate importance because of their biasness, but these these can give very useful information which may not be available otherwise. So, checking references is one of the important step in selection procedure. Then the next stage in selection procedure is approval by the supervisor. So in this stage, or this selection device is of great practical significance. So once a candidate has the successfully cleared the earlier barriers, next is to hand over that candidate to the concerned supervisor for acceptance or rejection. So although this third interview may involve some amount of overlapping, but still it is very important for at least two reasons. So one of the on the basis of the above steps, suitable candidates are recommended for selection by the selection committee or personnel department. Through such a committee or personnel department may have authority to select the candidates finally. So often it has staff authority to recommend the candidates for selection to the appropriate authority, or organization may designated the various authorities for approval of final selection of candidates for different categories of candidates. So, when the approval is received, the candidates are informed about their selection and asked to report the duty to specified persons, which are called as supervisors. Then the next stage in selection procedure is a selection decision. So once a candidate has passed the presiding steps successfully one by one, so now the critical decision is of finally picking the candidate. So the final decision has to be made from the pool of individuals who pass the test, interviews and reference checks. Then the next stage in selection procedure is job offer. So the next step of the selection process is intimating the candidates about their provisional selection. So a job offer or an appointment order is issued to the candidates who have been successful at the end of the selection process. So the offering should be continued in writing. The offer of employment should contain following details, that are job title, then starting date of job, then starting salary, or we can say package of for the particular job. Okay, so the next stage in selection procedure is contract of employment. So once the organization made a job offer and the candidate accepts the offer, then there is need to prepare and execute a contract of employment. So generally, This includes the following items like a job title, duties in detail, then a date when continuous employment starts, then remuneration and method of payment, then working hours, overtime, lunch and tea break, etc. Then detail of holidays and sickness rules, like we can say for sick leaves and paid leaves. So uh, then the next step in selection procedure is evaluation of selection procedure. So finally, there should be an assessment of the selection process of organization. So success of a good selection process was the availability of competence, qualified and committed persons in the organization. Okay. Then the last point in the selection is barriers to effective selections. So yes, there are some barriers in effective selection process. So the first barrier is perception. So perception refers to a person's ability to understand others. All persons perceive the world differently. So uh, we can say inability to understand others accurately is probably the most fundamental barrier to selecting a right candidate. So the selection demands an individual or a group to to assess and compare the respective competency of others. So with the aim of choosing the right person for the jobs. So perception, or we can say our views are highly personalized. So we all perceive the world differently. Our limited perpetual ability is obviously a stumbling block to the objective and a rational selection of the people. Then the next barrier for effective selection is fairness. So fairness in selection requires that no individual should be uh, discriminated against on the basis of religion, region, race, or gender. So fairness in selection. So, but the low number of women and other less privileged section of society in the middle and senior management positions are open discriminations of the basis of age in job advertisements and in the selection process would suggest that all the efforts of minimize inequality has not been very effective. Then the next barrier is validity. So validity refers to the extent to which a selection test measures what it intends to measure. It just raises the possibility of success, but sometimes it does not predict success accurately. So it can only increase possibility of success. So validity is a test that helps predict job performance of an uh, incumbent, or a test that has been validates can differentiates between employees who can perform well and those who will not. So, however, a validated test does not predict job success accurately, and it can only increase possibility of success. Then the next barrier in effective selection is a pressure. So yes, pressure is brought on the selectors by politicians, by relatives, friends, and peers to select the particular candidates. So pressure is brought. So the candidates selected because of compulsions are obviously not the right ones. So applicants or appointments to public sector undertaking generally take place under such pressures. So all these are the barriers for effective selections.